And there we are. That's funny. When I started playing, there were a few of you, and then there were none of you. Was it really that bad? All jokes aside. So for today, we're going to be working on Mateus Asato's How Deep Is Your Love? And this is the finale, right? So this is the very last. So now it's time for the second half. And just let's have a little bit of fun with it. I'm going to pick it up around here. There. Basically where he starts the second verse. And I'm going to do it, I think, sort of like 4 bars at a time. So we'll do sections of 4 bars. So we're going to work on the pickup now, and we'll do bars 32 to 35. So let's get started. So the first part, I'll play it, and then we'll get into how to play that on the guitar. And then, yeah, sorry, that was a silly little mistake. Okay, so what do? So you start off by playing on the A string, 2, 4, D string, 2, 4. So index finger and ring finger. Then what you do is you put your index finger in 4th. Let me just switch to this view. That makes it a little bit better. Then you go to 4th position, and with your index finger, you play D and G in 4th, as I said. And then you play E, D, and G together. And you make a hammer-on with your ring finger there. So play the bass note. Then you play that ring finger once more. And make a grace note pull off to 4. So again. Then pinky goes to A7. And then what you do is you play G sharp minor 7 here. So pinky goes to G4, ring finger to D4, and middle finger to E4. So you play that with thumb or pick, middle finger, ring finger, play the bass. Then you play that D string, you have your ring finger there still, slide up to 6, and drag down to 2. All right, so you get, right? There you create that F sharp minor 11 chord, and you play, so that's pinky and ring finger in 2nd of D and G, and middle fingers in 2nd of E, and you play E, D, B, G, and then B. Like that. Then you move up here to your C sharp 7, and your index finger is in 4th there on A through E, and then ring finger is on D6 and pinky is on B6. And you just strum it like that. Then your ring finger and pinky slide up a half step, another whole step, and then your ring finger, so your pinky kind of lets go, and your ring finger slides up to 11. So you get, right? Where the ring finger slides up to 11, you add your index finger in 9th position of A through E, and then your middle finger goes to 10 on B. You play A and B together, and then the pinky makes a hammer-on and a pull-off. Then you pick the G string there. Then you pick G and B, and you make a grace note pull-off with your middle finger there. Right? Then you add your pinky on G11. So you get. Okay? Then what you do is you just drag your ring finger down again to 9th position. Middle finger goes on E9. Index finger goes to B7. And you play E, D, and B together with pick, middle finger, and ring finger. You play them. And then you make a hammer-on with your pinky there in 9th of the B string. Okay? Play the D once more. And then you play D and B once more. but with the pinky in 10, make a grace note slide to 9, and make a pull off. So, sorry. Like that. Okay, let's play what we got so far. So we get... Okay, then what you do is you create sort of a B sus4 chord. So you bar everything here in 7th position. Your pinky is on G9 and your ring finger is on D9. And then you play E string, G string, and then you strum D, G, and B. And then what you do is you remove that pinky and add your middle finger on 8 of G. And you strum that. So I get... Okay. Then we get a series of triads here. Sorry. So that is the E triad in 9th position. So that is just your index finger flat on D, G, and B. Then we get the A triad, which we create by making a hammer-on with our middle finger on B10 and our ring finger on D11. Okay. Then we get the E triad again by having sort of that staircase chord here with our index finger on B12, middle finger G13, and ring finger on D14. Okay. Okay, so that is those 4 bars. I'm going to play that one more time. All right. Okay, so now let's move on to the next set of 4. Let's see. What do we got? All right. So I'm going to play that for you first. And then as per usual, we're going to play that on the guitar. Well, not play that on the guitar. I'm going to show you how to do that on the guitar. Silly me. Are you ready? Here we go. All right. So in the previous 4 bars, we ended on that E triad. So we keep that E triad, but we add our thumb in 12 of the E string. And then we play E, D, G, and B back to D. So then we go to B with D sharp in the bass. So that is pinky on B12, ring finger on G11, and middle finger on E11. And you pick those, so E, G, and B. Index finger on 9 of E. Make a hammer-on 11 on that same string with the ring finger. And you play it once more, and you make a grace note slide to 12. So, right, so I guess... Okay, you keep that finger there, then you add your index finger on D11, and then with your pinky, you play a grace note slide down from 13 to 11, and then you make a pull off to 9, and you play it again. Okay, so you get... Sorry? Okay, you keep that index finger there, at your thumb on 9 of E, play that 9 again on the G string, hammer on ring finger on 11, and then index finger 9 on B, like that, so. Okay, then you get the next part. Right, so index finger is flat here on 9th of A through E. So you just strum it, hammer on with middle finger on B10 and ring finger on D11. Play G, A. Then you play D, G, and B again. And when you do that, make a grace note hammer on with your pinky on 12 of that B string. Like that. So you got... Then you drag that down to when your pinky and ring finger are both in 9. And you play them twice. Like that. Okay? So... Then what you do is you put your index finger sort of flat on a 7th position there as a bar. Play it, put your pinky in 10 of the B string, play D and B together. And then you make that grace note slide from 10 to 9, pull off to 7, and then you play D, G, and B with the middle finger added now in 8. All right? Hopefully I'm not going too fast here, but that's kind of how it's done. So, okay. And then we get, hey, hey, hey. Awesome. We got something happening in the chat here. That makes me happy. That makes me happy. Yeah, so if you're just joining in, I'd still like to know, what Mateus Asato song should I do next? It's a simple question. Maybe the answer is really tricky to figure out. I don't know. So let's play that together. So we have 3, 4. Okay. All right, so now we start the next set of 4 bars, and that starts with a pickup. I'm going to play that, and then we'll get into how to play that on the guitar. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. There were some silly mistakes in there, but I think you got the gist of it. So what do you do? So first, that pickup. Now, in case you're very observant and you've been watching Mateus Asato play his thing, then you know that that is not how he frets it, actually. And that's because I think he did an overdub later to make the sound. But these are definitely the sounds that he's playing. So anyway, so let's get into how to play that. Yeah, send the link to the TikTok. Just put the link in the chat. I'm not sure if you're allowed to do that, but yeah, hopefully you will be. All right. So here we go. So the first part. So what you do is with your index finger on D9, hammer on ring finger 11, then index finger G9, and then with your pinky, this is pretty essential, G11, you slide to G13, and then you play an A major triad with the ring finger on D11 and index finger on G9, and open A, like that. The reason why I said that pinky was essential is because if you do that with your ring finger, the jump from here to there it's really hard to get it nice and smooth. So that's why. Okay, so now we're landed in those bars. So there you play. So when you play that A major triad, then you play the bass twice. Then you play 9 to 11 on D, to 9 on G, and there is a hammer on here. Then you go to the D triad. Oh, sorry, not the D, the B triad. So that is pointer finger on B7, middle finger G8, and ring finger on D9. Okay, so you just play that. And then you get the following part. So what you do, once you've played that triad, your ring finger's already on the D string there. You add your pinky in 9, and then you make a grace note slide from 9 to 6, like that. Then you pull off to 7, like that, and then you play it again. Did I say 7? I meant 4. Oh my goodness. So then you play that 4 again, hammer on with your pinky on 6, and then you go to the E octave here. So that is pinky, well, at least that's what I do, on G9 and index finger on A7. Okay, so let's play it until there. So we have all right, then we get the following part. So from that 9 that we have here on G, we make a grace note slide back down to 6, pull off to 4, and then we make a grace note hammer on back to 6. Right? Then we have that typical Mateus Asato slide halfway up, or half step down. So, and then pull off to 4. So like, then ring finger on D6, then G4. So this is sort of like a little bit of a chord. Add your middle finger to that in 7th. Play D and G, and then pinky on 6. Right, so. And then we get something that might be tricky for some. So what you want to do is you have your index finger on 4 of A, and then your pinky is going to be fretting, not fretting, but just gently touching D, G, and B in 7th position. So, and then making those harmonics there, right? What's really tricky about that is that if your index finger is sort of touching some of the strings that you want the harmonics from, then that is, then you won't get those harmonics. So you really have to clear the strings with your index finger, or those harmonics won't work. Man, this would be hard to play and sing at the same time. Better stick to John Frusciante's way of playing the chords along. Yeah, so this is like a guitar cover, I guess, of the song. So this is definitely not what is it? Yeah, this is not like how you would play it and just sing along to it. This is like solo guitar stuff. Oh, I have one, Africa. So Mateus Asato's version of Africa. That is a really nice one, actually. I've been thinking of doing that, basically because I love the tune Africa, and well, you know, Mateus Asato is pretty amazing. So those are good suggestions. I'm going to write that down. Let's see. So I'm going to write down Africa. There we go. All right. So let's move on to, let's just do a quick playthrough of what we got so far, and then we'll see where we're at. So we have, yeah, that last bit was part of the next set of 4 bars. So Yeah, so I played the intro there again. So what you do there when you go into the next section, so you start with your index finger on D2. Oh, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but you said also Africa. So I guess Africa it is. Yeah, there you go. Democracy in action. Anyone opposed, speak it now or forever hold your peace. All right. So we get this part. So we have the index finger on D2, hammer onto 4, and then here we get a series of chords. And what you want to do is have your thumb on E2, middle finger on D2, index finger on G1. And then ring finger makes hammer on in second, and then you play open B. So, okay. Then you go to that G sharp minor 7 chord. You play the bass again, and then with the ring finger, you make a slide from 4 to 6. And then I guess middle finger is going to be playing 5 there. So, and then what you do is with your ring finger, you make a grace note slide from 6 to 4. So like this. Then index finger, second position of D, hammer on to 4, and then pull off again. Okay, so. Okay. And let's see. So then we get this part, and it's. And I believe in the recording, Mateus Asato sort of kind of fumbles it a little bit. So, but this is what it should have been. So what you do is you have your middle finger on B10, ring finger on G11, and then you make a slide up from here, a whole step up when your middle finger hits 12. So then you go slide down, back up, and back down again. So, and then you make a pull off to index finger 9. Then what you do is you get this part. So that is a grace note slide from 11 to 9 on the A string, and then a pull off to index finger here in 7. So, okay, so we have. Then we get into a rhythmically a little bit of a tricky section. You get this. Well, at least I thought it was tricky. So you have these octaves, which means that the first one is your E octave. So your index finger is on A7, pinky is on G9, and you just move this shape around, right? So the first one is in 7, then we have 6, 4, and 2, right? So, but the shape doesn't change, so that's good to keep in mind. So what you do is you play E, A, G, and then you slide to 6. Play the bass, and then you make a quick slide to 4, back up to 6, and back down to 4. So you get. And then you slide down to 2. Then you play the bass once more. Then you strum while the fingers are still in second position. So, and you make a grace note slide back up to that E octave in 7th position. So you play it again. And then we get a quick slide down to 6, back to 7, back to 6. So we get. And then you slide down further to 4. play the E string, and then you play that octave once more. Okay? So I'll play it slowly. So you get... Okay? So now let's do a quick playthrough of those 4 bars with that little pickup there. So I get... Yeah, and I made a little mistake there as well because I had that, and then I played the bass note, but I shouldn't. I should have just done the slide up. But you get it. You get it. Okay, so now up to we're almost at the wonderful lick that he has. So but we have just these 4 bars to do first, and then we'll get to it. So then we get the... And that's where it's happening, but we're not there yet. So... we start off with A, so we have open A string, index finger is in 9 on D and G. So we play that, and then the the ring finger makes a hammer on in 11. And then we play G and B. Then we play the D string once more. Then put our middle finger on 10 of B and make a grace note pull up there. And then pinky to G11. So... right? Then our thumb goes to E10, pinky stays, middle finger goes to D10, and we get, so we play E, D, G, E. Then our index finger is going to, so our thumb stays, index finger goes to 9th of D, G, and B. We play it, bass note, then middle finger on B10, ring finger D11, and then another bass note. So drag it up, and then we go to that E triad again in 12th position, and you play first E, G, and B together, and then we play D, G, E string. So okay. Then we get, so you play D, G, and B together. Again, hammer on with your pinky in 14. Then you play this new shape again, and you drag it down a whole step. So then you add your thumb on 10 of E, and you play E, D, G, D. Right? Play this chord once more. Then index finger on E9 and middle finger on E10. So, and then we drag it down. All right, so we get... Ooh. I'm sorry about that. That was a little bit out of tune. I pulled the string a little bit, and that sounded real bad. I'm sorry, Mateus Asato. I didn't mean to do that. All right. So then we get the next bit. So this might be for some of you the part that you were all waiting for. It is something that has been played back numerous of times on the original video. Yeah, you can see like the on YouTube, you see the where people watch something a lot, and that last section of Mateus Asato is like, which was kind of funny to see. It's probably all those guitar players trying to figure out how to play it so they can explain it to you guys, I guess. So we have what was it? Oh yeah, so and then we get into the next bit. That's actually the trickiest part of the whole tune, I think. So once we've done this, we drag this middle finger down to 7 on your E string, right? Then index finger goes flat on 6, and we play D, G, and then B and E together. So we play D again, play B and E together, and then we make a hammer-on with our pinky. So then we go index finger on 9 of B and E. We play that, and then we make a hammer-on with our middle finger on 10th, like that. Right? So we get. Then we get this thing. So what is it? Well, basically this is just the harmonic minor scale play down with a little hammer-on pull-off at the start. So you play index finger on E, E9, hammer-on, and 10, pull-off. So. And then we get, on the B string, 12, 10, 9. Then on the G string, 11 to 10. Right? So. And then we skip one note in that scale, which is pinky, would have been pinky on D12. So we go straight to ring finger, D11. And by the way, we also skip D9. So we get, and then we get pinky on A12, ring finger 11, index finger 9. Okay, so. And then when we get here with our index finger on A9, we slide down to 6, to 8, back up to 9, then ring finger to 11, and then we play it again, and we do that half slide up, half slide down, so, and then a pull off to 9 again. I know this is a lot to take in, so we get. So now I want to just point out the hammer-ons and pull-offs here. So we get hammer-on, pull-off. Then this one is picked, pull-off, picked, pull-off, picked, pull-off, picked, slide, picked, slide up, slide down, and then pull-off. Okay, once we are landed in this spot, we get, so you get A, D, so we get a F sharp minor 7 chord here, so middle finger is on B10, ring finger is on D11, and we play A, D, and then B and G. So back to A. Right? Then we get. So I'm playing 10 on B with my index finger. Hammer on with ring finger or pinky. Usually I do pinky. I'm not really sure why. On 12, then from 12 a grace note slide to 13, A note again, then a grace note slide from 13 to 12, pull off to 10. So And here comes the trickiest bit that I thought is that you go with your ring finger to B7, so that's already quite a jump. Then you slide it up to 15, do a full tone bend, release, then slide down to 9, and do a semitone bend and release. Without, the only time you pick the note is at the first moment. It's really hard to have any sound left. So I'm not sure. So you have these pedals that you can use. Like I'm not saying that Mateus Asato is like cheating or anything. So don't get me wrong here, but there are these pedals that like sustain pedals that give you just that extra little bit that you can do these things with. So I'm not sure if that's part of it or yeah, maybe it's down to the guitar. It's definitely going to be down to the guitar player because it's just really tricky. The trickiest part about this is to have enough pressure when you do these slides and then, but still not too much pressure so the slide becomes impossible. So you need to be really relaxed, but be careful not to be too relaxed because otherwise you'll lose the pressure on the string and then the sound's going to be gone. So that's going to be, for a lot of you, pretty tricky. I know it was tricky for me. So what I would do first is just play this note, slide to 15 and work on that. And then make the bend and release. And then down to 7, and then make that next bend. It's all about first making sure that you have the motions in there, and then you can start to worry about the rhythm of that part. All right, so let's do a short playthrough of this. So we have... All right. Then we get into the last bit, the very last bit. So these are the last bars, and I'll be honest here. With there's 2 bars in there that I don't really know, so I'll have to read a little bit. And that is so there you play this. Sorry. That's kind of it, sort of, in a way. So what do you do? So once you've done that, your ring finger is there in 9 of the B string. Then you keep it there at your middle finger on 9 of D. You play E, D, and then you play D and B together, and you make a grace note slide down to 7. So then you play B5 and D6. So let's get. Then we go to that G sharp minor 7 chords. So it's all in 4. So G4, D4, and E4, ring, middle, and thumb. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't have that. So, and you play E, D, G, slide up a whole step, and then play open B. So then we have pinky on E7, middle finger on G6, ring finger on D7, and thumb on E7. It's kind of weird because I'm so used to thinking in note names that I have to remind myself to do this in tablature. And then you play E, D, G, E, and then E, G, D, E, and then E, B, G, D, E, D, B, G, And then we get that last bit. So that is index finger flat on 9 of D and A. And you play open E with that. And you make a hammer with your ring finger on 11. There you go. So, so you have that first part. So, oh, sorry. So, yeah, so there was that question from Jerry. Did you just call that a harmonic scale? Yes, a harmonic minor scale, that is. So the harmonic minor scale, so you have the natural minor scale. So this is just a very brief theory section, I guess. So the natural minor scale here, because it was F sharp, right? So which has the root note, the major second, pinky is, on the minor third, and then the fourth, fifth, minor 6, minor 7, root note. With a harmonic minor scale, what you do is you raise the 7th to become the major 7th. So you get, right? Has a very distinct sound to it. And then we have, so that's that major 7. So yeah, so that is your harmonic minor minor scale. Do you really think John Frusciante is a guitar player? Well, I don't know if Michael thinks so, but I certainly think so, that John Frusciante is a guitar player. There is a lot that comes to music, and some people are really like virtuoso guitar players, others not so much. But it's like, I mean, there's bass guitar players, for instance, who play very simple lines, yet they're regarded to be extremely good bass players because of how they lock into the groove, with the drummer. So having played in bands, you know, and having had substitutes for gigs, there's plenty of bass players that can, for instance, do all kinds of crazy stuff on their bass. But if it's not locked into the groove, it's pointless. So, and I think that when you listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, I'm not liking all of it, but when you listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, everything is just locked into the groove, and you need a guitar player to be like that. And I think he is, you know, where some guitar players are more sort of doing the fancy stuff, like around stuff and sort of, I don't know, like adding things in that way. I think that John Frusciante is a really significant part of that rhythm section where the drummer, the bass player, and that guitar player, they're just one. It's one unit. And yeah, and it's a different way of playing. And there's things that he did that taught me also a lot about keeping your strings in check, or using them partially as like a percussive, using them almost as a percussion instrument. So yeah, you know, and some people like Yngwie Malmsteen and think that's fantastic. Some people are like, Yngwie Malmsteen is crazy, and I like the soul of Mateus Asato, and somebody else likes the groove of Frusciante or whomever. It's all good. It's all good. Hopefully that was helpful. So for tomorrow, I'm going to do another live stream at 9. And to be fair, I have no clue what I'm going to do yet. So maybe I'm going to get started on that, on that Mateus Asato thing that you guys mentioned. I'm not 100% sure on that. If not, then I don't know. I'll figure something out. I have some stuff that I noticed that I have that I always wanted to do, and maybe I'm gonna take the time and do it tomorrow. Something to learn from everybody. Yes, definitely. For sure. It's and sometimes, so I want to quickly mention this, it's not always about someone else being there's no kind of sort of when playing a Mateus Asato. No, there isn't. There's something to learn from everybody. It's not always that when it doesn't work with someone, for instance, if you're playing in a band, it can sometimes also be the chemistry. So you have these pairings of I don't have an example ready, between drummer and bass player, where when they play together, it's just fireworks. It just, everything just sounds, they lift the band to a whole other level. And those people, they themselves know it. They feel that chemistry. They feel like, hey, we think alike. And the drummer already feels where the bass player is going, or the bass player knows where the drummer is going, or wants to do things. So that doesn't mean that when there's another bass player coming in, always that he isn't a good player if it doesn't work that well. It's just it's chemistry. It's like relationships. There's people that you enjoy being with, and there's people you enjoy being with so much that you'd spend the rest of your life with them, So, and I think in music, finding kindred spirits and if you're playing and you feel there is that connection, that's really special. So, but that doesn't mean that, you can definitely learn from people who don't have that same, because then you have to be flexible again and find your way. Then you have to find a way to make that connection. I think that's something that a lot of people forget. Oh, thanks, Jerry. Thank you. Yeah, I think that a lot of people forget that sometimes, where they just want to play and it's about them. But the main thing is that when you play with others, it's the first thing, the most important thing is that you make that connection with the other musicians, because that's where the magic happens. So if you have 4 islands doing their thing, it's not going to work. So you have to be listening to others and adapt. And, oh, they're doing that. They're taking a little bit more space. I'll use a little bit less space so they can flourish, right? Victor Wooten said that once in an interview with the guy from, I forgot his name, from Music Is Win, like, my job is to make the guitar player look good, or to make the artist look good. And I think that's the job of everyone in the band. The drummer has to make the band look good. The singer has to do that. So you can't have egos in that sense. You make music together, which I think is why scientists have said that music is actually really good for kids and adults, because it makes them more social. Because music doesn't work when there isn't that interaction and that thing like, what do you need, or what do you need, right? Please tell me this is uploaded as well. Yes, it is. Yeah, so this thing is going to be available on my YouTube channel right after the stream, And so don't have to worry about that. All right, so that was actually a lovely chat at the end. I like that. So tomorrow at 9, I'm going to be there, and we'll leave it at that because I have to teach a lesson in 7 minutes, so I can't make it any longer. Wishing you all a great day. I hope to see you again tomorrow. And then we'll see what tomorrow brings. Maybe I'll have a surprise. Who knows? We'll see. You'll have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.